What's up, Magic lovers? I've got a top 10 list for you today. Today, we're going to be talking about the top 10 card forces. Now, I was a little bit hesitant to put out this video because originally it was going to be a top 5 list, right? And I started thinking, and one thing led to another, and I have 10 great forces. Now, I'm not going to be doing any nonsense forces. Of course, a little bit lower on the list is going to be some of the easier ones. And some of the easier ones are a little bit down the line as well. But don't underestimate some of these forces, even if they seem simple, which I'm going to get into that a little bit later. For demonstration purposes, when I actually go over the tutorial and show you what I'm doing, I'm going to be using a different backed playing card. For the examples, I'll be using a Joker here, and that will be swapped out just so you can see a little bit better and follow what we got going on here. Okay, all right, let's begin with force number 1. And first on the list, and the number 1 spot, is a force that I think everyone should know. And if you don't know this force, what are you doing? Seriously. So what you would do is you would tell your spectator you're gonna have them, or you're gonna riffle through the cards like this here on the side, and wherever they feel comfortable. Let's say they say stop here. You're going to stick your finger in the side, and you're going to cut to exactly what card they told you to stop at. And that card just so happens to be the Joker. Now for the tutorial. Okay, so for this one here, this is called the Break Force, right? And it's pretty simple. I'm going to stick my black card on top here so you can see what's going on. What you're going to do is you're going to cut over about half the cards. Now, some people like to either go a little bit lighter or a little bit deeper. That way you have more to play with. So you can do that as an option as well. It also looks better from the front when you start doing your pinky break here. If you have a smaller packet on the bottom there, when you go to square it up, it just looks a little bit better. I always like to put a little bit of pressure here with my finger on the bottom, just to kind of make that look nice and square. And you can also transfer your pinky break to your thumb, just like so. And once you do that, you can transfer it over and talk a little bit, move your hand so it doesn't look like you're holding any type of break. It's actually pretty clean from the front. This might be a bad angle, but from the front it actually looks decently clean. And what you're going to do is you're going to tell them, tell me to stop anywhere. It doesn't matter where they say stop. They could stop up here. They could stop down here. You never really want it to go past that point, but you can still make it happen. Let's say they say stop right here. Then you're going to insert your finger here slightly, but all you're really doing is just pulling up here from the break. You're making it appear as if you stopped and pulled exactly from that spot. So one more time, I'm going to make it very clear here. Cut off that small packet, hold your pinky break, say stop anywhere you like. Right here, oh, okay, that's cool. Boom, that's it. And you've just forced your first card on the list. Okay, and for force number 2, this is a classic in Magic. What you're going to do is give it a little bit of a shuffle. You just tell the spectator, tell me stop anywhere you like. It's right there. And take a look exactly where you stopped. Let's learn. This is a classic in Magic, and this is called the Hindu Force because of the Hindu shuffle. Now, I am not very proficient in this because I do not do Hindu forces very often. But let me explain how this works. You're going to place your force card at the bottom of the deck. And all you're doing here is you're peeling off small packets of cards into the next hand, like so. a little bit at a time until they say stop. When you do this at speed, it kind of looks pretty good, like you're doing something, but all you're really doing is keeping that bottom card in the bottom position. And as you peel off packets here, you say stop anywhere you like, stop there, square up, and reveal that bottom card as your force card. Moving on to number 3. Number 3 is an interesting one. You can actually do a pretty cool, interesting, any card at any number type of effect with this one. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pull cards here from the bottom, and I want you to tell me to stop anywhere you'd like. Just say stop whenever you feel like you have a sensation for me to stop. How about that? Okay, right here. Are you sure? Okay, let's take a look at what card you stopped at, and that's it. And let's go over how this is done. Okay, so just like the previous trick, our setup is going to be your force card is going to be right at the bottom of the deck. And this is called the glide force. And what's going on here is as I go to grab the card with this hand, what I'm doing is I am just pulling this card here off slightly. And from the top, you cannot notice that, right? So all I'm doing is pulling the second card from the bottom. It's kind of like a cheap second deal, right? That's what we got going on here. A very, very cheap second deal. It's actually way easier than doing a regular second deal. So you get that master push off mastered. But so you just tell them stop anywhere you'd like. And of course, whenever they say stop, that's when you're going to reach a little bit further and grab that force card out. So number 4 on the list is actually very deceptive and is similar, I would say, to number 1. So all you're gonna do is just grab the cards and start dropping small packets of cards, and you just tell the spectator, just tell me to stop anywhere you'd like, right here. Okay, just take a look at what the card you stopped at, and of course it's our Joker. Let's learn how this is done. Okay, so similar to number 1, this is going to have a pinky break, and you're going to want a nice thick chunk here so you have some room to play with as you start cutting small packets of cards. And I'm talking about, you know, very, very small packets of cards here. And you just say, tell me stop anywhere you like, just kind of nonchalant. And as you start going further and you get into those cards, if they say stop here, drop another pile down, and you've got your force card. Let's say if you're in a situation where, oh no, you're running out of cards, you can just go one more here, and more than likely they're gonna say stop, seeing that you're running out of cards. And now you know that you're not forcing this card, you're gonna be forcing this one. So that's another great one and can be very deceptive. Let's move on to the next force. Number 5 is a very interesting one because there have been university studies over this particular force, and it's the way it works psychologically. Like, a lot of people don't really understand exactly how it works or why it works, right? They just know that it works for some reason. So the thing about this one is now you're going to want to have a little bit of a conversation with your spectator. You're going to want to talk to them, distract them for a small amount of time. And then let's say after you have a little bit of a conversation, a little bit of a distraction, you're going to show them, hey, this is the card that you cut to. And the cool thing about it is they can actually do this force to themselves. Allow me to explain here. And it doesn't seem like it'll work, but it really does work for some reason. So I'm gonna give another demonstration here of this principle here, and then I'm going to switch to the black card to get a better picture in here. Okay, so you can have them say, okay, cut about half the deck somewhere in the middle, and let's say they cut here, and then you say, all right, I'm just going to set this here. You start a little bit of a conversation, and what you're doing is what's called a time delay. That time delay distracts them from thinking about what position the cards are in and where they cut from. Of course, their card is in this position here, which really, if you think about it, that was the original top of the deck. So as we're going to go through this, so they cut here, you place, and sometimes I like to just like throw this here a little bit messy, or not like, don't do this sort of thing. Some people do this perfectly here, or just kind of like throw them around, and then it just makes it look a little bit better, I think, in my personal opinion. But let's bring in the black card so you see how ridiculously crazy this looks. I'm gonna cut the cards here, and look at that. That is absolutely nuts. Most people would pick up on that automatically, but because of the properties of how this actually works, most people would not even notice. So don't underestimate this one. This one can be pretty powerful. I've done tricks and even purchased tutorials for very complicated tricks that required a force, and this is what they taught. So do not underestimate the power of the crosscut force, because it'll do it. So moving on to number 6, this one is pretty interesting and requires the box. You can actually have the spectator shuffle the cards as much as they want, give those cards a couple of cuts or what have you, and what you're going to do is you're going to have that the cards returned to the box, and then you're going to close the box and set them down. And I say it's similar to the last one, simply because the spectator is going to be cutting the deck themselves. They can even shuffle it, and it's a little bit of a time delay. So now you're going to pick up the cards after, let's say, giving them a story, giving them the patter to tricks, whatever it is, and you're going to say, what card did you land at? And of course, it's going to be a force card. Now, for the demonstration here, have your spectator shuffle the cards as much as they want. Give them a couple cuts, and just tell them simply that you're going to take their cards and put them back in the box, and we'll get back to them a little bit later. And all I'm doing here, and I'm going to show you, so you have the card in here, as I'm tilting this over, all I'm doing at this angle that they can't see, it looks like I'm simply putting the cards in the box, right? Pro tip, cut off these little tabs will help you with this type of force. But it looks like I'm just simply putting the cards in the box and closing the box up and coming back to it later. However, when you go to pull the cards out, because of how you had it placed, that force card is going to be right on top. So let's get a slightly better look at that. And you're going to want to place the card in here in a direction that you normally place the cards into the box, right? So I normally put the back design to the back design of the box. So here I'm gonna what I kind of like to do is to take the box and kind of put it downwards like this, so you can get a little bit of a pull here. And then if you hold it here from the side like this, you can't really, depending on the angle, it looks like the box is empty. It looks like you're just putting the cards into the box, and that's it. And like I said, if you take off those little tabs, it makes it a little bit easier. That's a good one. That one works a lot. Now, we're going to go over another one. And this next one is a little bit similar, yet it is a little bit different. Okay? So it's going to be kind of like the timing force. So this next one is going to be similar to the last one. And I'm still keeping this in category of number 6 because they are very, very similar. But it's also very similar to the timing force that we did earlier. Except, as you notice, there's no pinky break. Keep that pinky all the way out so you know that's not what's going on. But you have your spectator deal down cards, and you want them to deal down a nice little messy pile of cards until they feel comfortable and they want to stop. Tell them just deal down cards until you get a little tingling feeling. And let's say they dealt down cards until right about there. That feels about right. And then you tell them, hey, I actually have a prediction in this box. And if that's correct, if you stopped at the card that is in this box, that would be a small miracle. Let's check it out. There is, in fact, a prediction card in the box. And you stopped at that exact card. All right, let's learn how this is done. Let's bring the box into frame here so you can see exactly how this one is done. Order of the cards does not matter. You can have them shuffle away. That's always a nice thing because people never really think that they're getting forced a card when they're able to shuffle the deck. And hopefully your spectator knows how to shuffle and they don't bend your cards up. But you know, that's why we have the crappy cards. Sometimes you gotta use those for spectators who don't know how to shuffle. But anyway, you have them deal down cards, and you want this to be messy. That is kind of important. It's a little bit of a camouflage to block off what is exactly going on here. Messy, the messier the better, the wider the better. And what's going on here, let's say they stop at this point. What's going on here is as you're grabbing the box, right? As you're grabbing the box and lifting up the box, your card is right here, right? So your card is going to be right here at the bottom of the box, like so, just like this. Let's say I had this down sitting here on the table, and I would say, you know what? I actually have a prediction here inside the box. And you're going to take that box and you're going to throw it down just like that. And then you immediately point at it and say, if the card that is in this box matches the card that you dealt to, that would be awesome. And of course, we have our card here. And that delivery system there of having the card here as you go to set it down kind of camouflages with everything else. And let's just see that again in slow motion how it works. Let's say you got the pile there. Your card is set up right here looking nice and you're holding it. You can kind of pinch the box like this. When you go to pick it up, you can kind of, you see, you don't want to flash that card, but if you come here and you just pick up all 4 corners all at once, then you come and drop it down like that. Notice how well camouflaged that was, that delivery. And that is an awesome one. Don't underestimate this one. You will fool the pants off of people with this one. All right, let's move on to the next one. So number 7 is probably by far one of my favorite forces of all time. I've performed this hundreds and hundreds of times. It is, to a certain degree, angle sensitive. However, if you practice in the mirror for a little bit, you can get those angles somewhat taken care of. You can kind of see how far you can push it. I'm going to try to perform this as best as I can. This is not an optimum angle to be performing this one, but I'm going to go ahead and give it my best shot, honestly. And hopefully I can get it at least demonstrated somewhat. It's a type of riffle force, and you tell your spectator, tell me stop anywhere you like, anywhere you like. And let's say they say stop right there, right? And you're gonna tell them, okay, you stopped right here at this card. Now go ahead and take a look at your card, and look at that. It is our force card. Now let's go over how it's done. You're gonna start with your force card at the top of the deck. And as you're riffling down, I should probably mention the name of this. This is called the Slip Force. And as you riffle down the cards with your thumb, like so, you're going to want to riffle down. They say stop here. And as you go to pick up the cards, this is what's happening. Notice the pinky and the ring finger. As I go to pick this up, all right, the pinky and the ring finger are holding onto that top card. I'm going to try to get this in the best angle to teach you. There we are. As I come to pick up, the ring finger and the pinky finger are grabbing on the corner of that card. And now it appears once you do this fast, right? So I'm going to do it one time fast at a bad angle to try to show you what I'm talking about here. Riffle through, they say stop here, and boom, they stopped exactly at that card. And when this force is performed well, this is top tier card force. For sure, without a doubt, this is got to be one of the best of the best. Let's go ahead and bring in the black card for a little bit better demonstration purposes. Let's say they say stop here. I'm gonna pull down with these here, and it's gonna kind of pop up a little bit. But if you do it really quickly, like I did right there, let's try that again. If you can do this actually pretty quick. And another thing that I do here, sometimes I don't even pull out the card all the way. I'll just kind of riffle force it here, and then I kind of here, let's try that one more time here. I'm gonna riffle force the card here, and I kind of just like move the card like this so they can get a little peek at what the indice here is. And let's get that red joker back on here so you can kind of see how that would look. And like I said, this is not the best angle, but let's try it. Let's say you stop here, right here. Okay, take a look at your card. Boom. Throw it back in the deck. Doesn't matter because you already know what it is. So moving on to number 8. This is going to be a 3-parter. Because there is multiple things that you can do with this type of idea, right? So I'm going to go over the easiest version, and then I'm going to save the most fooling version for last, which will be a simple force. And then there's kind of like a somewhat of a trick in the middle. But let's go over this now. So, of course, you have your spectator cut this. So you know what? Cut somewhere a small packet of cards, and I want you to flip them over. Okay, so they do that. And then you say, okay, you know what? How about you do this? You take the cards and cut a little bit deeper this time. Cut about halfway, maybe a little bit more, and you're gonna flip those over. And this works, I think, best when you have a little bit of a time delay and misdirection. But then you come over to the cards and you tell them, okay, so obviously you cut the cards, you cut them anywhere that you want, and you cut the cards twice. And let's see exactly where it is that you stopped at. And wouldn't you know it, you're at the Joker. And let's go over how this works. This is one of the more beginner type of card forces. However, I've noticed it fools most people. Especially laymen who don't have much experience with cards or magic in general. This one works very simply, and I'm going to replace that with this one because this one's going to help out a lot in this teaching. So you're going to be flipping a small packet over, right? And let's kind of keep our eye on the location of that card. So we are right here, right? And then when you tell them to cut a larger packet, they're just going to be cutting this packet over. And see, this is exactly what's going on here. This whole thing is going to go over. So if we were still in 3 pieces here, it would look something like this. So now all we did was take a packet, flip it over, and then we flipped over past that packet, leaving the first face down card to be our force card. Okay, so that is the first one. Now the next part of this, I'm gonna set it up and I'll be right back. Okay, so here's the next part. This is very similar to the last one that we did, but this one's gonna be a little bit of a trick as well as a force. So let's check this out. So you have the spectator cut the deck anywhere they want. You're gonna have them do the exact same thing as you did before. Flip the deck over, except for this time you're only gonna have them do it once. And then you're gonna spread through and you're gonna tell them, let's see what card you cut to. Okay, and you cut to this card. And it's not gonna be the Joker this time, simply because I need a different card to perform the trick. So let's see what you cut to. Okay, you cut to the Queen of Hearts. Very interesting. And I say that's very interesting because earlier I actually flipped over one card in the deck. And I'll show you here. There's actually just one playing card that's flipped over in the deck. And wouldn't you know it? That playing card is the Queen of Diamonds, the Queen of Hearts doppelganger. Now let's talk about how that works. Now this one is interesting. I think it's a fun, quick little trick that also is a force. You could have stopped right at the forcing of the hearts and just ran with that one backwards card. If you wanted to, it could work like that. But I think that's why part 3 of this number 8 on the forces list is going to come in. So I like to keep this as a trick, but let's go over how that works. So you're gonna have your force card. Let's say this is your force card, the Queen of Hearts. So you're gonna take the opposite, and that's gonna go on top of the deck. Okay, and you're gonna count over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 playing cards past that, and you're gonna just flip them over like this. Okay, and then your force card is going to go face down, square up, and now you're set and ready to go. So let's go over how this works. You have them cut anywhere they like. So let's say they cut somewhere towards the middle. And what's happening here is, remember, we have one face down card, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then our force card face up. So what's exactly happening here? As they cut somewhere in the middle and flip the cards over, as I spread through, you'll see if I keep this together mostly and spread through, you'll see you come to the first face down card, which is going to be the force card here in this case, right? It's going to be one of the queens, okay? But if we were to continue, obviously you would see the other card, because this is the situation. This is all the cards that we cut, and this is the situation below it, right? It is the exact same thing. 5 cards in between the 2 cards that were flipped over. So boom here, and remember, whatever card here is last here, that's going to be the card that ends up getting forced. So yeah, see that? This one is the one that gets forced. So that's a cool little trick there that I think works pretty cool. It could be just the Force, especially if you don't have the next tool for part 3 of number 8 of the Forces. And let me set that up, and I'll bring it right back to you. Okay, so this is how part 3 of the number 8 Force, well, not the number 8 Force, but the number 8 on our list, works. It's very similar to the last one, except there's something different that you need, and I'm just going to give you a demonstration now. By the way, the Force card is going back to the Joker, okay? Cut somewhere, anywhere you like. It doesn't even matter. You flip the cards over, and you're going to tell your spectator to either spread through the cards, or you can spread them out like this if you like. And you'll see exactly to what card they cut to here. And we're going to take a look at it, and it happens to be the Joker. Now, let's learn how that works. So, this is the first Force on the list, and I believe the only Force on the list that uses something extra. What does it use, you might be wondering? Well, it uses a double backer. One of my favorite little sneaky tools to use. Right, the gaff cards help a lot, but man, that double backer sure is useful. So it's going to be very similar setup to the last Force. Here's what's going on here. Your double backer is going to be going on top, and your Force card is going to be going face up directly underneath it. And this is what's going on here. As your spectator cuts anywhere they'd like, as this flips over, right, you have your double backer here. So your first face, your face up Force card then gets reversed and becomes your first face down card. So this Force is pretty cool because, well, I mean, anybody who already knows this cut deeper Force is gonna be like, wait a minute, what the hell is going on here? I haven't found many people that actually know this Force. It works great. It works awesome. So this is a good one. If you're watching this video, keep this one to yourself because this is a good one. Let's move on to the next one. Okay, so I lied on the last one. The double backer is not the only gaff card in the list here for the Forces. There is another, or another two. Have the spectator or yourself cut the cards anywhere they want to, and then you show them what card they cut to, and it happens to be the Force card. This can be repeated over and over. It's actually a pretty cool little thing that works here. Have them cut the cards again anywhere that they'd like to, and you show them that they cut exactly to the Joker. So let's learn how this works. This is something that's pretty cool. Also, there's more than one way you can actually get this this trick here to work. Like, for example, if I were to just take my finger and push up on the cards, you can see it automatically cut exactly to our Force card. So what's going on here? What is exactly happening here that these cards are ending up in this position here? Now, the cool part is it doesn't have to be set up in advance. You can have any card chosen and you can immediately cut to that card. What is it? This is what's called a breather crimp. Well, what is a breather crimp? A breather crimp is a card, and excuse me, this does not have to be the Force card. This could be any card in the deck. A breather crimp is a card. I'm going to try to get it in the angle here. Do you see that light, that glimmer? You see that X pattern that's in there? That X pattern that is on that card right now is made by taking your finger, putting it in the middle, pulling hard to the corner, doing the same thing, pulling hard to the corner, doing the same thing, pulling hard to the corner, doing the same thing here, and pulling hard to the corner. And this is called a breather crimp. And you can see the X pattern that is created. And what it does is it gives the cards the ability for you to cut those cards anywhere. And what's happening here is there's a slight aeration in the cards. And once the cards are set down like this, you can't actually see that until maybe they're picked up, and you can kind of see where that little cushion of air is that allows you to pick up to those cards. And the cool part is, like, let's say if I'm just holding these cards here like this, you're never gonna see that. Especially as a spectator, nobody's ever gonna see that those cards, and you can see that it can be used in many great different ways to force that card. You can pick up at any other spot and also pick up at the same spot. So it's entirely up to you. You can cut low, you can cut high, and then when you're ready, you can cut directly to the card that you wanted here. And this best works when you have it directly in the middle. So if I were to cut these cards, let's see here. Yeah, when I want to cut it till we got it directly in the middle. And usually when it's in the middle, because it's equal weight, you can literally pick this up and cut directly to the same card over and over and over. And because it has that little bit of a gap, that allows you to see, if you pull the cards to the side, exactly how far you are. So if you are, let's say here, and you know it's not exactly towards the middle, and it doesn't need to be the middle, but if you want the hit rate to be 100%, so all you gotta do is cut over some cards. Let's check it. Ooh, that looks perfect. So let's try it. Boom, hit. And that is the breather crimp. Now, this next one is in the same ballpark here. Now, with this next one, you can perform the same exact type of cut, and it works, but the hit rate is not as good as the last one, and you don't have that little gap in the middle there. See, the cards just look normal. And there's one more thing that this card can be used for, this gaff, and that's to force the card in this way. Ooh, you see that? Let's see if we can get, okay, let's see if we can get the card here forced again. And I want you to see a card, not this one. Oh, did you see one? Maybe that was a little bit too fast. Let's try it again. Did you see one? And honestly, when I perform this, I usually try to take a lot of the face cards and put them towards the bottom here. And you want that that card, the Joker, a little bit towards the end, but it stops for a quick second that allows people to see that card and remember it better than the other cards here. And what am I using here? What's going on? Well, I'm using something that's called a short card. What is a short card? Well, allow me to explain here. A short card is a card that is a normal card, except it's slightly cut here at the bottom. I don't know if you can see that. I'm gonna try to pull it in the camera a little bit closer. And it's not cut by much. It's just a tiny amount there. So it's not even noticeable. And what that allows you to do, I'm gonna try to show you here from the bottom, is there's a slight little gap right there. So it kind of creates the same gap as the other card, except it's not as exaggerated. So with that little tiny gap, you can more than likely, let's try this again. You can more than likely cut exactly to the card that you want. And it didn't work that time. And that's the thing about the short card. Its hit rate is not as good. You got to kind of practice with it. Maybe I can probably get it this time. Let's see. Boom. Yes. Okay, so that is the short card, and there's plenty of things that you can do with that. It's less noticeable than the breather crimp, so that's one benefit. Except, you know, they both have their pros and cons. So you are able to force the cards like this with the short card, but the breather crimp, let's see if it actually works. I've never tried this, but we're gonna try it here for the first time. See if I can do the same type of effect I did with the breather crimp. Let's see. Well, it did work, but I guess you would have to put your card underneath. So it's similar, similar things. But that is the short card, and you can see how sort of square this here is at the bottom compared to the top. And that's that one. Let's move on to the next one.
Wait. Pause the video. In retrospect, whilst editing this video, I realized I forgot to mention that the short card can actually be used as a dribble force. So try this out. Cut a small sliver of a random playing card that you have laying around. Stick it in the middle of the deck, and you'll realize that as you start dribbling the cards, you'll feel a stop to the cards. And the card that's directly above your short card will get forced to the spectator. All right, now back to the video.
So we finally made it to number 10 on the list. I saved this one for last because of how deceiving it is, especially in person. In person, this one is actually like one of the best of all time. So you just spread through the card and have your spectator touch any card they want. Let's say they touched this card right here, right? Then you would have them take a look at that card that they touched, and that card happens to be the Joker. So what is going on here? What is going on here? There are multiple answers to that question, my friend. Multiple answers to that question. Let's see, how can I explain what is happening here? As you're spreading through the cards, right? As you're spreading through the cards, you tell the spectator to stop anywhere they like. Let's say they say stop here, and you're going to show them that they stopped right at the Joker. Okay, I'm just teasing here. I just really enjoy this force so much because it looks so good. It feels so good. But I guess it's time to tell you guys how this one's done. So me personally, I like to take the force card and put it in the 3rd or 4th position. I recommend 4th position. I think it looks a little bit better. Matter of fact, yeah, 4th position is good. Once you have it in the 4th position, you would pick up your deck of cards and start to spread through them. Now, there's an important move I need to teach because this force is sleight of hand heavy. It's number 1 on the list for a reason, and it is very deceiving. And it uses a move called the Cull. And this is what's happening here. So we know our card is in the 4th position. And as I start to spread through, and this is my force card here, this is what's going on. As I'm spreading through, I'm pushing this here forward. And on this side, I am grabbing that card, right? I am grabbing that card and I'm pulling it out. Once it clears, I can continue to spread the cards like this, right? So what do we have here in this situation is we have the cards that are spreading, and this card is just floating right above them, and wherever they stop, let's say they chose that card, we then even all these cards out and show them that they stopped at the Joker. So let's go over this one more time because this is a difficult one to get down, especially at first. We're gonna go right back to our 4th position, and I'm gonna start to spread the cards. And once we reach that 4th card, one of the key factors to making this look good is covering right here. Cover that card. Once that card is covered, you're gonna use your middle finger your pointer finger, middle finger, and some of the ring finger to kind of pull that card back, right? So in essence, if we're gonna do this, let's try to do this way so I can show you. The card is gonna go here, all right? And this is what I'm doing. I'm pulling that card, right? Pulling that card back so it can go wherever I want it to. And that's the Cull. And this Cull Force, let's get that card in the 4th position. This Cull Force is so good. And I'll probably use this Cull Force in another tutorial later on. But you're gonna cover up. So we're taking that 3rd card, we're completely covering this card as in the motion of spreading, right? So that's actually very important. It has to be in the motion of spreading to make it look good. So we start to spread the cards, and in the motion of spreading, right, you've already done it. It's already here, and it's already starting to glide over. Now, the only bad angles here would be here, but that's if you're doing this. Then it's gonna look like crap. So as long as you keep it nice and tight and just spread underneath that card just like this, and then wherever they say stop, you just look. You can actually just hold exactly where they say you stop. This right here, is this the card you like to stop at? All right, take a look at it. That tap too is not 100% necessary. I like to do it just because that's the way I learned this one. But let's go over it one more time. So as you start spreading through the cards right here, let's say they say stop here. You really don't have to tap it. You can just do something as simple as come in with the cards here, right? And turn them over and show exactly where they stopped. And I think that works pretty good too. This is a powerful, powerful force. And as they say in Star Wars, may the Force be with you.
Magic lovers, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe.